Three, two, one.
Hi everyone, and in today's video, we will be reading Wildest The Simpsons theories that make you question everything you know about the series. While The Simpsons has extremely forecasted many an event in the future, which we've mentioned quite a lot over the years, what about the wild fan theories within the show? It's not exactly a fan theory that Donald Trump will become president after it was predicted in a previous episode of the long-running Fox series, but the theory that Bart Simpson actually created the whole premise of the show. Well, that is a wild fan theory if we've ever heard one. From the Simpsons family all begin generous to Homer being in a coma for decades. Hardcore fans have been reading between the lines of each episode to try and see if the hidden meanings were meant to pick up on. While some are arguably more believable than others, it's a fun ride at least. The latest stems from Chief Wiggum not being Ralph's biological dad. Instead, fans are convinced that Ralph is a child of Clancy's fellow Springfield Police Department college Eddie after he had an affair with Sarah Wiggum. What has fans believe in that brain tickler? Some have pointed out that Ralph bears no resemblance to that of his supposed father, who has blue hair and an upturned nose, but sure enough the schoolboy shares a similar trait with Eddie in their standard black hair. It seems that one has been well and truly myth-busted, seeing as Ralph and Chief Wiggum's father and son relationship wasn't established until season 4, which perhaps explains why the pair don't look like each other. What other spicy theories are afoot? The entire show is told from Ned Flanders' perspective. This one is a little hard to believe, as even though he's a pivotal character, he's missing from quite a lot of the series. One fan theorized, however, that this is the case simply from the character we've been painted of the Simpson family. That is, we see Homer as dumb, Bart as a little brat, Lisa as wasting her potential, and Marge as long-suffering. Is that what Flanders sees, and therefore he's projecting that onto the viewer? Despite the family actually being quite normal, one fan thinks so. Barney, Gumball, and Moe are the same person. One fan theorized that Barney is Moe after he has Professor Frink use his time machine to change his childhood under the pseudonym of Barney Gumball, who turns into Homer's beer-swelling best friend, in the hopes of leading a less depressed life. However, he walks into Moe's, gets drunk, and forgets the whole reason of his new existence. Along the same vein, another theory is that Nelson is actually Barney and follows the same theory as above. Homer never wakes from the coma. He lands in after the vending machine falls on him. This is a depressing theory centers around Homer after he was plunged into a coma in the 1993 episode, so it's come to this, a Simpsons clip show after a vending machine falls on him, naturally. Even though Homer wakes up at the end of the episode and all is well, one theory suggests that all episodes that have happened after are merely scenes conjured by Homer's unconsciousness mind and don't actually exist, especially as they get more and more surreal as the series goes on. It adds that when he wakes up, that will mark the end of the series, as time then begins again as normal, which does make sense when you take into account the theories below about the time loop and the series ending where it began. What else made the theory so eerie was episode Homer the Heretic, which has the following exchange between Homer and God, where our protagonist asks what the meaning of life is. You'll find out when you die, God replies, as Homer then says, he can't wait that long. God then says, you can't wait 6 months. that aired around 6 months before Homer was crushed by the vending machine. Even so, producer AI Gene had dismissed this one particular theory. Sorry, folks. Bart died in an unaired episode. While characters on the show rarely die, apart from Mood Flanders, we should add. One early episode from the series sees Bart bite the dust. According to some intense fandom chatter, the rather grim theory floating around suggests that there is an unaired episode out there titled Dead Bart, in which the eldest Simpson kid was killed after being sucked from an airplane. We told you it was grim, but it's also been defunct by some as a simple creepypasta story gone rogue. While showrunners also named an episode Bart's Not Dead, similarly and a nod to the hardcore theory. There is some grainy footage on the internet, which some die-hard fans may use as evidence, but the jury is out on that one as to its origin. Characters in Springfield don't age. We can believe this one on some levels, seeing as everyone has remained the same age over the 30 plus years of the series. Should the characters be aging, Bart would be well into his 40s now, while some may simply put it down to the fact each episode exists on its own and doesn't follow a strict line of chronology. We'd love there to be more behind Matt Gorge's decision, if there was a decision behind it. The fact we see many flashbacks of the family as children, and Marge and Homer meeting in high school and so forth, leads us to believe this one might remain one of those theories that goes no farther than our imagination. Springfield is stuck in a time loop. As well as for no aging business, over fans believe the world outside Springfield evolves while those in the town are stuck in some sort of time loop. 4K users have suggested keeping the town in some sort of commutation allows it to be much bigger than the space it takes up, as well as shift its location as needed. So essentially, some fans believe, while the world changes around Springfield, it and its inhabitants remains the same, but can move locations, which is why we never really know the location of Springfield in the United States. One long-held example of Bart leaving Springfield and all of a sudden aging is the Italian Mob, when we catch up with Sideshow Bob after a certain period of time. While the Simpsons are all the same, Bart's enemy is now the mayor of a small Italian village and has a wife and child with a protective flea for no. This makes some pretty eerie sense, seeing as there is a long-held fan theory of how the show will end, essentially leaping back on itself and recreating the opening theme as the final episode. Have we been watching the one continuous loop this whole time? Lisa isn't the only smart one. The whole Simpson family are geniuses, but still feed their talents. According to this theory, every member of the Simpsons family is a smarty pants, not just Lisa. One Redditor theorized the family has diminished their various mental abilities at some point, including Grandpa's flashbacks of him playing piano and flying fighter planes, not at the same time. While Marge chooses to stay at home, despite her success at school, and promoting feminists and victims, even Maggie is thought to be a genius, saving her family members while also showing off talents behind her family's back. In 2001 episode Homer also shows off he has a brain after all, after a crayon which was lodged in it as a child is removed. One fan theorizes on Reddit, the crayon was briefly removed. He becomes a genius doing such things as proving God doesn't exist, but he put it back in order to avoid obstructionism from his friends and community. Determinedly, he chooses to replace the crayon in order to go back to his happier, simpler life. In fact, the whole family chooses happiness over genuineness, apart from Lisa. The theory suggests that Bart shuns his natural genius after seeing Homer happier with intelligence and chooses to live the Bart way, or as Raj shared in one appropriate episode, Bart created the Simpsons series. This one is an absolute dozy and makes completely sense, seeing as Matt Bowen has said he based the famous family of his own. Does this also link back to the theory of the final? There are multiple Hans Mole Men. According to some punters, the lovable but unlucky character is actually part of a large group of Hans Mole clones, and every one we see is ever so slightly different. Seeing as Paul Mullen is often getting into a sticky situation that would probably kill any other, from car crashes to being kicked into oblivion by robots, this could have legs. One commentator on the Reddit theory suggested there are a race of human mobile hybrids that live under the Springfield in their gradual attempts to attack over the world. They are taking up jobs one by one in Springfield. Luckily, though, Homer's shenanigans kills them off as fast as they can come to the surface. Thank you for everyone watching the video. I hope you all liked me reading that, and I hope to see you all in the next one. And if you did like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications to never miss another video like this. And if you have any video ideas that you would like me to do, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.